Are you having trouble with your Nintendo Switch 2 and it playing on your LG television? Well, you are not alone. Hey everyone, welcome into the channel. If you've been following my saga for the past couple of weeks or so, then you know I've had all sorts of issues dealing with the Nintendo Switch 2 and the dock and it playing on my LG television. This, by the way, is an LG G4 series television. Some of you will actually get that joke if you've been watching for a little bit here. But anyway, that is the model number of this television, the LG G4. Now the issue that I've been having is, well, I've been playing Cyberpunk with the Switch 2, and then I just come over and I put it in docked mode, hoping, I want to play it on the big screen. After all, that's where I want to play this game. Just sit back on the big screen and play it on the Switch 2, and then be able to play it in portable mode as well and hop back and forth. I just took a long airplane trip today for 4 hours, flew to Maine, and brought my Switch 2 so I could play some Cyberpunk. Great experience until the guy next to me lifted the window up because he wanted to stare outside at clouds, and then you're like blinded by it and you can't see the Cyberpunk on the on the screen because it's a dark game. Anyway, I finally figured out a huge piece of the problem. While I was flying, I was sitting there sort of meditating on why, when I was playing Cyberpunk, did I start having this problem? And then I started to investigate. So I got off the flight, came home, and I've been playing Hollow Knight as well for the first time. I popped Hollow Knight in the Switch 2 dock right down here, and it just popped right up on the screen without a problem in the world. And I said, aha, I think people have been having trouble with Cyberpunk 2077. For whatever reason, there's an issue with 120 hertz, there's an issue with HDR with Cyberpunk, and it playing well on the Switch 2 dock. So what did I do? I fired up Cyberpunk right here using my Pro Controller. And what happens, I'll show you. All right, here I am in Hollow Knight, and let's just go back here to, this is a cartridge version of my Cyberpunk 2077. I'm about 5 hours into the game. Love the game, by the way. So let's launch this. Let's close Hollow Knight, and here we go. Now watch it'll work for the first time, because now I'm recording this. Now it'll work. And you all say, Clayton, you're an idiot. Oh, nope, it didn't work. See? This is the problem. Cyberpunk 2077 simply will not play given certain settings. So, there we go. Now, in order to get any kind of access to the home screen again, or be able to interact with it at all, I'm not able to use this. I'm not able to interact with it on the television at all. So, then I have to come over here to Cyberpunk, and I have to close this out in order for it to work again. So we close out of Cyberpunk. I can close the software by hitting X. So close that. Do you want to close it? Yes. Let's close it up. Okay. Now let's see if this works. I'm going to put this right back in the dock. And let's see if it... boom! What do you know? It works fine. Absolutely no problems on any of the other software or the home screen. So what I want to do now is I want to change the settings. I want to go into settings and try to change the HDR settings and also the 120 hertz settings. Okay, so you've got to come here to display in the settings menu. HDR output, turning it off. Match power state. I've heard a bunch of people have issues with this as well, but for now I'm just going to leave this on. Let's see how that does. I'm going to go down here to 120 hertz, and let's turn that off. Okay, now I've heard, this is where people are seeming to have better luck, so let's try to launch Cyberpunk again with those settings turned off. And let's see how we do. Will we get invalid format? Invalid format. Oh, there we go. So there we go. So folks, we have figured out a big problem with the Nintendo Switch 2 and one of their flagship third-party launch titles, a game that I paid money for, and I was thrilled to support because CD Projekt Red put the full game on the cartridge, and I wanted to support that. I only have two physical Switch 2 games at the moment. because, you know, I'm not really into that, like into cozy farming romantic simulators. That's not really my thing. So, you know, I don't even know what that game is. Azuma, I think. I mean, it looks fine, but it's not really my cup of tea. So as far as like other physical copies right now, this is it. So I was supporting CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, and we have this major problem, whether it's between HDR handing off to, and this is specifically, by the way, from what I can tell, LG television problems. So a number of people are reporting LG Series C2, G4, and C4 models. And that seems to be in some of my videos here, many of you who've had LG televisions. And look, I've loved LGs for a long time. I think they're great TVs, they make great panels. Really, I think one of the best. So I'm just having a lot of problems. I just can't believe that these LG televisions are not playing well at all with the Switch 2 dock. So again, it's the invalid format errors that are popping up with 120 hertz HDR enabled with Cyberpunk. Along with a few other games. I've seen a few other people saying that they've been experiencing some bugs in Mario Kart World as well. But this is the only bug that I've had. It's been Cyberpunk causing this invalid format problem. What's really strange is that before the Switch's firmware update the other day, it was playing fine on the television and I didn't have a problem. So after Nintendo released their firmware update, I think CD Projekt Red is going to have to release some sort of an update if you want to be able to play in 120 hertz or HDR. And to me, Cyberpunk is a game that you absolutely want to have HDR. It's one of the benefits of, I mean, with all of that lighting and dynamic lighting and all of those things, I want to be able to see HDR with that game. So anyway, that's a big issue. So if you're having trouble with your Switch 2, with your LG televisions and on certain games, you may want to turn off that 120 hertz right now and HDR until we hear of a big patch. And I will update all of you guys once I learn that there's a big patch or sort of fixing some of these issues. But it seems like right now it's a software issue as it deals with that new firmware that Nintendo rolled out a few days ago. Something's just not playing well in this handoff between the Switch 2 dock and your display. So let me know down below, guys. Are you guys having similar issues right now? Have you noticed other bugs in other games besides Cyberpunk 2077? It's a big shame because I want to play it on the big screen. Anyway, thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thank you for being a part of the community. I love doing this. I love just talking games. I love talking hardware. And so if that sounds good to you guys, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you soon.